Hi everyone, my name's Amy. I've had a few people ask if I do Flosstube, so I thought I'd give it a go and just see how I get on, really. Probably not going to watch my own videos back, don't like the sound of my own voice. Not going to edit because I haven't got time for that, I just want to stitch. So today I'm going to do two tags. Actually, before I do that, I'll just explain how I came across Flosstube. So I've been stitching since I was 15. And I went to the local Heaven and Earth retreat in Crewe last February. I say local, it's an hour and a half, and for a little Welsh girl, that's quite a long drive. But I went there, got on well with everybody, and started hearing about people talking about Flosstube. So at this point, I didn't know what that was. So I came home, had a look on YouTube, I thought, this is amazing. I don't need the telly anymore, I'm just going to watch this all the time, because why wouldn't I just want to sit and watch other people talking about their stitching, as we all do. But then I had the problem that at the same retreat I'd started putting charts on my iPad through EZPDF, and I couldn't figure out a way to have a split screen so that I could watch Flosstube on one half of the iPad and have my chart on the other. So I sat there thinking, don't know what to do. For hours I was trying to look for answers, couldn't find any, so in the end I just went down to the local Argos and bought a brand new smart TV just so I could watch Flosstube. Probably a bit obsessive, but apart from having YouTube on the telly, I don't use any of its other features. I don't know what it does, so it is just my Flosstube telly. Okay, so just so you get to know me a little bit more, the first time I'm going to do is Know Your Needleworker tag, and that's by Whimsy Daisical. If you see me looking down, it's just because I've got them on my iPad, because I couldn't be bothered to write them down. Okay, number one, where do you live? So I live in Mid Wales. A lot of people get confused and ask me where that is. It's the middle of Wales. Don't really know what else to say. It's not north, it's not south, it's in the middle. Live in a little town called Newtown, lived here all my life. Now I'm raising my family here, and just a proud Welsh girl, so you won't see me moving out of the area really. Number two, what do you do for a living? So I work for a Wales cottage holidays agency. So we sell self-catering cottage holidays. So that involves all different aspects. So I take bookings, I deal with owners, I deal with customers, I deal with inquiries, payments, payments to owners, customer service questionnaires. And then aside from that, I also do website work. So keep all the content on the website updated. If owners are having a problem logging into their areas, I'll deal with that. So it's quite wide and varied, and no 2 days are really the same. Number three, do you have any children? Yes, I've got two. I've got Callum, who is 11 and is starting high school in September. It's mad. He's just had his open days. Can't believe it. Don't feel like I'm old enough to have a high school kid. So he's amazing. He's a little sweetie. And then I've got Kayla, and Kayla is 6 next month. Again, I don't know where the time's gone. She's amazing. She has an attitude. People say she's like a mother. Don't know why they say that. I don't have an attitude. Number four, do you have any pets? No, I don't. But I do babysit my mum and dad's new puppy when they're working nights. So I'll go with I have half a dog. So he's a little Yorkshire Terrier. His name's Louis, and he is bloody hard work. And when he comes to stay, I get all excited. Within half an hour, the novelty's worn off and I want him to go home again. So it's probably put me off having a puppy at the moment. Number five, what are your other hobbies besides stitching? Okay, so I'm not an outdoorsy person, and my hobbies all involve me sitting on my ass. So stitching takes up a lot of it. I also read a lot. Forever reading, cannot get to sleep unless I read. But I've also just started doing diamond painting, and that I love because it's so easy to convert a cross stitch pattern into a diamond painting. So I've got this one cross stitch chart and it's been in my pile for ages, and you just keep looking at it thinking it's so confetti heavy. I don't want to stitch it, so it kept putting me off, and I thought, well, I can do this now, it's a diamond painting, so yeah, okay, I'll do that. So yeah, I've started diamond painting as well. The only thing with that is that you can't really watch telly or Flosstube. You have to listen to things really, because your diamonds are being placed so quickly onto the canvas that whereas when you're stitching, sort of as you're pulling the thread through, you can look at the telly, you can't really do that with diamond painting because it's just going so quick. So ordered a load of stuff from the sale. I'd been doing diamond paintings for about 2 weeks. And then AliExpress, which is like a Chinese eBay, business eBay, they had a sale on and spent 150 quid on diamond painting. So I'm a bit compulsive, but I enjoy doing it, so what's the harm? Number 6, what is your favourite movie? Okay, this is going to be movies plural because I can't pick. So 1, Dirty Dancing, know all the words to it, quite happy to stand up, do the dancing on my own in the lounge when it comes on over Christmas. I've watched it so many times. Dirty Dancing 2, I really enjoyed that as well. Don't have it on DVD anymore. Maybe I should buy it. Not as good as the first one, but still really good. But my other favourite movies are the Harry Potter films. I can't pick between them. I love each and every one of them for all of their own reasons. When I read the books, I was really worried about then watching the films, because for me at least, when you have your books and you're reading, you're using so much of your own imagination that the movies sometimes can be a letdown. I didn't get that at all. It was exactly how I imagined everything. Hogwarts looked how I imagined it to be as I was reading the books. So because of that, I keep flicking between reading the books, which I had them all and I sold them all and I don't know why. And I've bought them all again on my Kindle. So they're staying. And if I don't want to read them, then I'll watch the films. Luckily, my kids are both really into Harry Potter as well. So we can sit here in the winter. For a week we just sat, we watched a film. Well, some days we watched more than one film. Just got in a load of crappy sweets, crisps, sat here and just did a Harry Potter run of all the films. What is your favourite TV show? Okay, so I watch a lot more TV than I watch movies. Favourite TV show at the moment, it's got to be Love Island, because why wouldn't it be Love Island? It's just mindless watching telly, so really into that. But I really like medical dramas, and I like crime dramas and horror. I pretty much watch kind of all sorts of things. I'm watching at the moment The Resident. That's just started showing on Sky here. That's amazing. I just heard they're doing a season 2, so I'm really excited for that. I've never watched Scrubs. I know, shock horror. So I've started watching that, and I'm hoping that I get into that because there's loads of seasons, which is loads for me to watch when I'm stitching. What is your favourite book? Okay, so I've already said I really, really enjoy the Harry Potter books. But I've also come across an author on Kindle called Amy Cross, and I highly recommend you go and read her books. So she was bringing out like 2 or 3 books a week, and I thought, how is this even possible? How can you write that quickly? So I looked into it. Turns out she's had a load of books, and she's she's quickly getting them all uploaded onto the Kindle. 99p a book. And because I've read so much and I'm such an avid reader, I tend to know what's going to happen in books. So if I can figure out what the ending's going to be when, you're quite far in. With Amy Cross books, I have never once come to the end and thought, oh, well, I knew that was going to happen, because it just surprises me every single time. So please, please, please go and check her out. The books are ridiculously cheap and she's got hundreds of them. What is your favourite music? Oh, I listen to everything. I listen to the radio going to work, and that's always varied. It'll have like really new songs, it'll have some old songs, have pop. I'm kind of more like a pop girl, kind of like my pop. So like the songs that you can really have a sing along to, and also love Bob Dylan. People might not understand that, but yeah, his songs are amazing. And last question, number 10, what word best describes you? Compulsive. Yeah, I'm going to say compulsive. So, well, the telly, that's one thing. Within hours of not being able to figure it out, I was just so bored, I just went and spent 400 quid on a new TV. I'm just compulsive in all areas of my life, really. If I'm going to, I just do things on a whim. And yeah, that's just me. And competitive as well. I'm super competitive. So I'll explain a bit more that I've got some challenges going on at the moment with my stitching. And it's just making me stitch like a bitch. Okay, so that was the Know Your Needleworker tag. How are we doing? 10 minutes in. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at another one. Just so you can get to know a bit more about me with my stitching. So this is the original cross stitch tag. I don't know who did it, but it was back in 2013. Wow, has Flosstube been going on that long? Okay, 2013. So the first question, how did you start or who introduced you to cross stitch? Okay, so living in Mid Wales, we are really, really rural. And as a teenager, there is naff all to do. I lived away from Newtown, where I am now. I lived away from there a little bit, but still only half an hour up the road. And we were literally in the middle of nowhere. There was nothing to do. The hamlet had like 10 houses. And at 15, I was bored. So one of the neighbours in our local community centre, because we needed one with just 10 houses, started doing a craft night. So I thought, well, it's better than nothing. By then, it's the whole, you've got internet, but it's dial up. Your mum tells you to get off the internet because she needs to use a phone. So it wasn't the days where you could have lots of things to do if you weren't able to play outside. So this was winter. So we went up to do this craft night and I saw this little Winnie the Pooh thing. Now, I've never been into Winnie the Pooh, so I don't know what possessed me, but I thought, I'll give this a go. Like, what harm is it? It's going to waste an hour and a half of my evening. And I started and I really got into it, and I got into it really quickly. The lady who was there, when I say taught me, I don't think she really knew what she was doing. I don't even know if she'd ever done cross-stitch in her life. But I just kind of figured it out. And then you just learn things as you go. So, like my first one was an absolute mess. And, the top leg was all going different ways. And the back stitching I did with 2 strands, not one. So, yeah, not great at all. Don't have it anymore, which is a shame because it'd be quite nice to see sort of how I've progressed. Right, so yeah, that's how I started. And then the next question, do you have a favourite theme or designer? So I'm going through a stage of stitching everything Lizzie Kate. And especially now that she's saying that she's going to retire all of her charts, has made me think, oh my God, if I don't buy them all now, I'm never ever going to get them. So I find myself putting stuff away, like into my wish list for things that I would never stitch. Like this is one about the dogs. Dogs for people, rules for dogs. I don't even have a dog, but it's in my wish list because I'm scared that I'll never be able to get it again. And what happens if I ever do get a dog? So yeah, really liking her charts at the moment. Number 3, what floss brand do you use? Okay, so even though I've been stitching a long time, I stitch with DMC and I have never stitched with anything else. I don't use variegated DMC. I've tried Krynic. That was disgusting. Threw it in the bin. Never dealing with that shit again. Don't use hand-dyed threads. Although I'm hoping that's going to change because I really want to do a mirror. I'm going to say this wrong. Mirabilia. Can never say it. Really want to do one of them. And the thing that kind of terrifies me is that some of them are over-dyed, I think. Which is making me a bit edgy because I've never worked with anything other than DMC. But what's the worst that can happen? I've got to start somewhere, even if I have been stitching for 17 years already. What is your favourite fabric of choice? Oh, I sound like such a newbie. So I only stitch with DMC and I only stitch on Ada. I used to stitch on 14 counts. Yeah, you go me. Started 16 count. Thought, yeah, really like this. Tried 18 count. Thought, what the hell is this shit? Back up to 16 count. But now with the mirror that I want to do, it's easier. I've been told to do it on even weave or linen. Don't like the idea of doing linen because the slubs is just going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to try and give it a go on even weave. I don't know how I'm going to get on. I might throw it across the room and temper, but you never know unless you try, I suppose. Number 5, do you use a needle threader or a floss licker? Floss licker all the way. Who's got time to use a needle threader? Surely that'll just take twice as long. What kind of stitching frame do you use? Okay, so I used to just have a hoop, and I started one of my Heaven and Earth designs on a hoop and quickly thought, where the hell do I put all of this excess fabric? So then I heard about Q-snaps. So I bought a Q-snap, and then when I was trying to stitch, it was quite a ball ache getting my hand, because I used to hold it in my hand. So it used to be quite a ball ache putting my hand through because I'd have to grab all the fabric and kind of move it out of the way first. So then I bought a Lowry work stand and thought, right, I'm going to teach myself how to stitch two-handed. Like, that's going to speed me up. And yeah, it has. So if my Lowry broke tomorrow, I'd be out buying a new one because that is my ultimate stitching friend. I could never go back to just... I mean, I went camping the other weekend and I want to take my stitching because we're in the challenge I'll explain about in a minute. And I packed the tent and I packed all the duvets and the pillows and the clothes and stuff for the kids. Shoved my Lowry work stand in there, as you do, because I just cannot stitch without it, not even for a weekend. So that came along as well. What question was that? Oh yeah, stitching frame. Okay, how many projects have you finished? Not many. And I don't even think I've got any. So my last finish, shameful to say, was December 2016, where I stitched QS Dragonflies by Heaven and Earth, and I did that for my sister. The pieces that I've got, the Heaven and Earth, are just so big, and with working full time and being a single mum to 2 kids, I don't have as much stitching time as I would like to have, so it's really slow going. So, and I doubt I'm going to get anything finished by the end of this year, so I'm going to be entering a 3rd year with no finishes, but who cares? It's all about the process. For me, anyway, it's all about the process. How many completed works do you have currently displayed in your home? None, because I finish them and I give them away. I'm hoping to change that. I really want to get some stuff on there because I do all of this work and spend so much time in this hobby that I want other people, when they come around, to say, oh, that's beautiful, how did you do that? And just be beaming and say, oh, I did that, thank you very much. Took me 2 years. Do you do more stitching for gifts or keep for yourself? So again, I've answered. The ones that I have done are given away. I haven't got anything for myself. Nothing in the 17 years I've been stitching. What is your favourite project or finish that you are most proud of? Don't have a finish. Don't even know whether I should bother finishing this tag. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, it's not about finishes, the rest of it. So my favourite project, I'm probably really enjoying all my Lizzie Kates. I've got a few on the go now. I'm going to have to do a whip parade at some point where I can show them all, but I'm up to 53 whips at the moment. And I'll explain that after I finish the tag. I'll explain why I've got so many. What has been your least favourite or worst experience while stitching? Oh, the worst thing for me was teaching myself how to stitch two-handed because I was so cockeyed. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to, with my dominant hand underneath the fabric, and I was trying to poke the hole, and like I needed it sort of here and it was coming out up here, and I just could not get the hang of it, and I get so frustrated. I thought, no, just persevere, carry on, because this is really going to speed things up. And You watch people on Flosstube who are two-handed stitching and they're going like the wind, and it's like, I want to go like the wind because I want to finish something someday, maybe. So yeah, that was the worst thing, was teaching myself how to do this. But now that I do, I couldn't ever imagine going back to one-handed stitching. I don't know why I did it for so long. So if you don't two-hand stitch, give it a go and just persevere. Within a couple of hours, it'll be like you've always done it that way. What do you love and what do you hate about cross stitch? What do I love about cross stitch? It's so peaceful. It takes my mind off everything. I can sit down, I can relax. The kids are in bed. And it's building a beautiful picture out of tiny little threads and holy fabric. So it just looks really nice when it's done. What do I hate about cross stitch? The fact that I get enabled easily. And it doesn't even have to be somebody talking about it. Like, I can go on the so-and-so website and I'll start showing, just to have a look, see what they've got, as we all do. And I'm shoving stuff in my basket and paying for it before I even realise I've done it. And I've still got charts that I've never started, but I bought on a whim. So yeah, the fact that I can probably get enabled easily, and that I just have so many. I hate that I haven't started them all. Next, have you introduced anyone else to cross stitch? Nope. Tried to get my mum into it. She did it for a little bit when I was maybe 19, 20. She didn't really like it, but now she started crocheting, and she's really enjoying that. So she lives half an hour away from me, but she'll come down in the evening and she'll sit with me. She'll crochet next to me. I'll cross stitch next to her. We'll chat shit for a bit and then she'll go home, or she'll stay overnight. Sometimes she'll stay overnight as well. But she gets up early then to crochet before I get up, so that she has some peace and quiet, which defies the whole point of her coming down and having a crafty evening. But that's my mum. She's nuts and she's a law unto herself. What was your first project? Did you finish it? If not, what was your first finish? So it was that tiny little bloody awful Winnie the Pooh that I'm so ashamed of, would love to see again, and then to throw it away again, just so I can see what my progress, how like I've progressed over the years. I can imagine it, and it was just like a kind of side-on view of Winnie the Pooh. But yeah, I'd love to see it again. Really wish I'd never thrown it away. And then the last question, how do you store your cross-stitch floss? So plastic bobbins in the DMC storage, what they call boxes, storage boxes. I saw them all in there. I thought I had the full collection because I just started going on eBay and buying loads of people who were getting rid of all of their stash. And I bought so much floss that I thought, I've got to have the full collection. And I went to start something a couple of months ago and I was missing like 12 colours out of the 40 that I needed. So I don't have the full set. I am going to work up to getting it. I don't know why. I think I just want it because I don't know why. I just want it. Okay, so those are the 2 cross-stitch tags, and hopefully that's made you get to know me a bit better. I'm a lot more comfortable now. I'm not as nervous and my voice isn't as shaking as it was at the beginning. So that's good, and it hopefully will get easier each time. So I'm just going to explain what I've been working on and why I've been working on it. So I'm not going to do the whip parade today. I've got too many. I'm going to have to do that in a completely separate video and maybe split it down into parts. But at the moment, I'm doing the 100-day Heaven and Earth challenge, where we have to stitch on our project every day. So I've got a piece that I've really neglected. I started it in 2015 and I haven't kind of stitched on it really this year. So I thought, right, this might give me the motivation I need to start getting somewhere and get through the bloody confetti on the tips of it, because it's unreal. I used to be a cross-country stitcher, and then I started parking to try and make that easier, and now I'm kind of a bit of both. So the one that I'm working on is Gothic Cross by Bridget Ashwood. And I just really love how the background, it looks like the cross has been placed onto some fabric because it just all fades out around the edges. Oh, it's lost focus. Try again, put it down. Put it. There we go. So these tips on the cross are the worst. So they're not even that big. Like it might be 50 blocks at its widest there. It's like 50 no, more than that. I lie. 5 blocks. 5. No, that's not right. I don't know what it is. Anyway, that bit is awful. So what I do now is I cross country on the back and I park for this, because when I'm trying to do parking on this bit, I got really frustrated that I was in a block of colour, and then I was parking the thread when I could just carry on. But it really is needed for the confetti. So for the people who do really big confetti pieces that are all over, I completely understand now why people park their way through that. I would too, but just not for blocks. Okay, and this is where I've got to. So stitch on my trusty 14 count magic guide, or whatever it is, Ada, because who the hell wants to grid all of that, let's be honest. So, can't get you all in. So this is where I'm up to. So if I roll it up so I can just explain it to you sort of as I go a little bit. This side. So this tip here, so this is where I started learning about just how confetti heavy this was. I'd never until this point dealt with any confetti like that. So if I zoom in a bit, you can see that I got so pissed off I just moved on to the next page, because I haven't got time to sit there and try and sort all that out. The only thing now is that every time I try to go back and I think I really need to finish that tip, and then I look at it and I can't see the grid lines anymore because they've all been covered over by stitches. It's just going to be like an absolute mess trying to figure out what goes where. There's like 89 colours in these tips. So I'll do it at some point. And then I started over here, and I don't know why I've left that bit. Why not? I'm a bit special and unique, do things differently to other people. Started the next page, and then I got bored with block work. So I got bored with block, but then I didn't want to do this. So I thought, I know, I'll just go down a page, because then it starts getting lighter. So you really start seeing like the background coming through. And then I went on a big binge, cross stitch binge on this. And I just went hell for leather, and I got that tip done. And it's absolutely beautiful from afar. Like you can really see just how stunning that is. And it makes it all worth it. So I'm just starting this page down here because now, again, I'm bored of confetti. So now I'm back to doing block work again. And then I've got another sort of 3/4 of a page there. And that's as low as it'll go. So yeah, really happy with it. Really happy with the progress I'm making, considering I've not stitched on it for so long. But for the Heaven and Earth challenge, I'm doing it for 3 challenges. So I'm working on this piece for 3 challenges. It's the 100 day Heaven and Earth challenge. Stitching Donna, love you. She's runs challenges in the Scottish Stitching Retreat. Try and say that pissed. And she's got challenges that she sets every month. Last month her challenge was to stitch 3,000 in the month. Me being an absolute idiot said, I could do that easy. Why don't I work on 4 pieces and do 3,000 on each piece? So 3,000 a week. But I did it, and I got a lot of stitches in. Didn't really sleep very much. Had to take my cross stitch while I peed to go to the toilet. Not really joking. But it felt like all I did was work on it. But her challenge at the moment is to stitch 7,500 stitches in the month, which I'm definitely going to hit, especially with the 100 Day Heaven and Earth challenge. And then the other one that we just started is the Tour de Stitches in Cross Stitch It's Fun on Facebook. So we've got a great team. There's 9 of us. We report our total. So you stitch however much you can in a day. You report your totals to your team captain. And then every Friday, the team captain tallies up how many there are, puts it into the event page on Facebook, and then we get a nice little bar chart to see where we are. So I've already said I'm super competitive. So I was stitching like a fiend, took it camping because I didn't want to miss out on my stitching. But we're second. And there's no way we're going to be first because they've done like 52,000 stitches in a week. And I think we did 27,000, which is still amazing. And I'm not as disappointed as I thought I would be with like my progress with how I've been doing, because I've been able to get in maybe 500 or 600 stitches. And I was quite feeling down on myself. There's other people in our team and they are absolutely smashing it. But I started getting a bit disheartened that why am I only doing like 500 or 600 stitches? And I thought, well, that's 500 or 600 stitches that otherwise I wouldn't have done in this piece. I wouldn't have picked it up. So actually, when you look at it that way, I think I'm up to about 6,000 stitches so far, and for July, and it's the 16th of July, and I started the 1st of July, and the Tour de Stitches started on the 7th of July. So the 3 challenges are all going on this piece. Okay, so I'm at half an hour. My battery is at 7%, so it's like, you know when you play chicken with the last little bit of your thread? I think I'm doing that now with my Flosstube video. So I really need to stop before it just cuts off and I lose the video forever into space. So if you've got any comments, put them below. Listen to me, I'm talking like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to put it onto YouTube, get hold of Stitch and Donna, say, look, I've done this, what happens next? So I'll just say what everybody else says in the Flosstube community. If you've got a question, put it down below. Failing that, I don't know, find me on Facebook maybe. Mind you, my surname's Jones and I live in Wales, so that isn't going to help. It'll be fine. It'll all work out fine. I'll figure it out. I'm not an absolute technical idiot because I work on websites for a living. But for some reason, YouTube might be the death of me. But we'll see. Hopefully everything will be fine. So the next time I do a video, I'll perhaps do another tag. If there's one that you do want me to do, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to work through the different ones. There seem to be loads out there. And then I will start showing you some of my whips. So thank you very much for watching if you got through to the end. I really appreciate it. And I hope to do this again soon. Thank you. Bye.